Good evening, and welcome to the Fightful Overbooked media call. Heading into a very busy week in professional wrestling, Jeremy Lambert will be here to take not only questions from the media, but also offer some insight into a very busy and exciting weekend in the world of professional wrestling. I am Joel Pearl, and I will be here to moderate and introduce questions from the media. But first, I will throw things over to Mr. Jeremy Lambert for opening remarks.
Joel, thank you for that introduction. Everybody, thank you for joining us today. We have a tremendous lineup of wrestling content this weekend. We have a taped WWE SmackDown show tomorrow night, Friday. We have Impact Under Siege on Friday night as well. We have WWE Night of Champions on Saturday. We have NXT Battleground on Sunday, AEW Double or Nothing on Sunday, New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors wraps up this weekend as well. There's so much great content in the world of professional wrestling. As a great man once said, watch your wrestling. Watch your wrestling, everybody. Whatever you want to watch this weekend, we have it all. We're going to cover it all here on Fightful Overbooked. I want to thank the great media for joining me today. We could not do this without you. Literally, this channel could not run without some of the people on this screen right now, mainly referring to our IT support, Chris Mueller, nobody else, and me, largely me. This channel wouldn't run without me. So thank you to me for being here and hosting this and doing a tremendous job with this entire channel. Joel, I'm ready for the first question.
We will open up questions to the media who are on screen. You will be called upon momentarily for your question, and you'll be allowed a follow-up question if you so desire. Please remember to unmute yourself when called upon. We will start with John Alba from a multitude of platforms. John Alba, ask your question, please.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Hi, John.
Can you hear
John,
me?
hi.
Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, John.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Thank you for being here today, John.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You know, Fightful's been putting on a lot of really great events lately and a lot of great shows. There's a lot of great things going on in the Fightful cinematic universe. It's really great if you haven't heard. I just would like to know, what are your COVID protocols?
That's a great question, John. It is all social distancing. We don't allow anybody to interact with each other. We're all in our own homes right now. All we do is social distance. We don't want anybody next to each other. We don't want anybody in the same vicinity of each other. You know, these people who go out and travel to the events, we don't support that. We don't appreciate that. We don't like that at all. We don't condone that. We don't condone the traveling. We don't condone going to events and being there live. We want everything on these StreamYard calls, just like this. So that's how we're going to keep everybody safe. Kate excluded. She just randomly gets COVID just walking out the door, so we can't really help that. But that is why she stays in her own home with her shitty internet and can't interact with anybody. So she doesn't give COVID to everybody else through the internet.
But I find out about COVID through protocols.
Thank you, John.
John, no follow-up question, I assume.
I mean, I have many follow-up questions, but I want to allow my fellow media brethren to have an opportunity to ask questions. But I guess while I'm popped up here, I may as well ask, let me take out my list of questions here. My next question would be, do you have an update on the All Out pay-per-view, given that it is a week after All In?
You know what? I'm actually going to throw that to Chris Mueller, who is IT support for us. Chris, do you have an answer for us?
No.
There you go. Sorry. It's the best we can give you. Just no.
Thank you, John. Our next question comes from Connor Casey from comicbook.com. Go ahead, Connor, with your question.
Hey, Jeremy. Just wanted to thank you for taking the time today. First question I have.
Thank you, Connor.
First question I have for you. Has Cody Rhodes faced enough adversity?
I don't think you can ever face enough adversity. Honestly, Connor, you know, they talk about finishing the story, but the story never finishes is what I've been told. So I know he had a torn pec. That sucked. He actually missed like real time because of that. He has a broken arm now, I believe. That's very unfortunate. I think he can break both legs. I think he can I don't condone concussions. They're terrible. They're awful. No one should have to go through that. But that's some true adversity right there. Concussions. I think he should go and play like a game of hockey and get hit a few times in hockey. NHL playoffs, big things right now. He should go through that. He should blow a 3-0 lead. That would be some great adversity for Cody Rhodes. Broken legs would be great. Broken back. Great adversity. He should lose to R-Truth. I don't even think R-Truth is around right now, but he should just lose to R-Truth. See if he can rebuild himself from that. Do Stardust all over again. Just do a 20-month Stardust run. 20 months of Stardust. And see if he can survive that. And then if he can survive that, maybe Connor Casey, he will be ready for the WWE Universal World Heavyweight Raw SmackDown NXT main event championship 24/7.
And just to follow that one up, you mentioned that stories have no end, but do they have a beginning?
Only if you write the beginning, Connor Casey. Only if you write it.
I see. Well, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Connor.
From Connor, we have a written-in question from Ella J from the Run Sheet Pod and a wrestling gal. She asks, "Hi, I can't be on screen right now, but I promised Jeremy I'd submit a question into the live chat. Who would win a WWE 2K24 singles match? Joel Pearl as Joel Pearl or Joel Pearl as Joe Gacy?" I don't know who this Joe Gacy character is. I do know who I am. Jeremy, go ahead.
Joel Pearl always loses.
I shouldn't seem to have a follow-up here, but I will follow up with I am not a loser.
Disagree.
Anyway, our next question comes. What, are we doing anything here? Caden from Around the Point Network. Caden Lee, go ahead with your question.
Hey,
great question, Caden. Thanks for joining us.
Well, all right then. It appears that Caden has lost his internet feed. Did not expect that. Harry Carey came back from the dead. He's got a question via super chat. Hey, Jeremy, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
I was going to do a Harry Carey impression, but I don't think, oh, yes, I would. That was awful. Awful. Yes, I would eat myself if I was a hot dog. Why wouldn't I? It tastes delicious.
Okay. Our next question comes from Throwback978 on Twitter. Throwback, go ahead with your question.
What's up, guys? Haven't talked to y'all in a while. It's been a bit.
Thanks for joining us, Throwback.
I got a couple questions about one thing. And since Kate's on and somebody who loves NXT like I do, Battlegrounds in my backyard in Lowell, Massachusetts. I will be there. It's going to be awesome. So for you guys as a panel, who do you guys expect to be like the match of the night for NXT Battleground, and what's the one thing you're looking out for in the future for NXT? And then Jeremy,
I don't watch that show, but I will allow Kate to answer that question.
Sure. I think you have an injured Lyra Valkyria, and we have a hooded figure running around, and we've seen how well that paid off for Xia Li on the main roster. So I think as far as stories go, that's probably your one to watch. But I think watch for Dragunov and Dijak as well.
And the other question I have to follow up before I go, because obviously you can hear a compressor, I'm working. When is Pearl going to be touring again? God damn it. Keep saying he's going to tour around the freaking world with a band and stuff. When is that going to happen? Damn it. Bye.
It appears that Joe Gacy will be the one touring in Lowell, Massachusetts, starting on Sunday when he is going for the North American Championship. We have a question from John Alba, who is in the gallery. John Alba, go ahead, unmute your mic if you'd like to ask a question.
You got to unmute your mic, John. John, you got to unmute your mic.
Muted. John, you're muted.
John, yep. Go to the next person. Sorry, John. John, sorry.
We'll come back.
Sorry, John.
We'll have to come back.
We'll come back to John.
We have a super chat question from Ryan Sullivan. Jeremy, any comments on the Velveteen Dream?
Well, that's a great question, and I would love to comment more on that, but I cannot comment on that at this time.
Our next question comes from Dr. Chris Miller from Bleacher Report.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for taking the time today. How are you?
Thank you, Doc. I'm well. Thank you.
So, even though he's not scheduled for any shows this weekend, I'm going to ask about CM Punk because otherwise people will call me a fake reporter if I don't. So, what local Chicago eatery do you think CM Punk will plug during the next press scrum?
That's a great question, Doc, and thank you again for joining us, Doc. I know you're a hardworking man, unlike most of the people who have joined us today. You are very hard at work. That's a great question. I think CM Punk will plug it's not a very well-known place in Chicago, honestly. I'm not sure how many people have heard of it, but I'm going to let everybody in on a secret right now. This place is actually open all the time. Unlike Mindy's, who takes days off for some reason, don't understand that at all. This place, they pay well. They deliver on time. They make great food. It's a great place that I don't know if many people have heard. They have the best pizza. They have the best pizza in Chicago. If you ever go to Chicago, you have to go to this place for a pizza. I was in Chicago. I was at Chicago for All Out in 2021, and we got pizza from this place, the Chicago deep dish pizza from this place, the absolute best Chicago deep dish pizza I've ever had. Let me tell you, Pizza Hut deep dish Chicago pizza, gotta have it. So if you're in Chicago, go to Pizza Hut, get the Chicago deep dish. It's only sold in Chicago, by the way. I don't know if anybody else has ever had it anywhere else in the world. Chicago deep dish pizza from Pizza Hut. That is what CM Punk should plug. Not very well known in Chicago.
Jeremy,
Thank you, Doc.
Can you spell Pizza Hut for people who might not know or be familiar?
No one out pizzas the Hut. I can't spell, no.
Okay.
It appears that Caden has returned and has a question as well. Caden, go ahead. Try again.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Hi, Caden.
Hi, Jeremy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Unmute your mic.
With the split roster between Fightful and Fightful Overbooked.
Caden, you're having issues.
You're muted again. I'm sorry.
With the split roster between...
What's going on here, Caden? What is happening? Why do you do this, Caden?
We'll give you one last try, Caden. Go ahead.
With the split roster between Fightful and Fightful Overbooked, how do you handle these massive personalities when they do have to converge on major weekends like this?
That's a great question, Caden. That's a very great question. You know what I do? I sit them down. I sit them all in a StreamYard room just like this. And I say, be a professional. Just be a professional. And don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And then everyone just follows suit. Because I have a handle of these locker rooms, of the Fightful locker room, of the Fightful Overbooked locker room. And they listen to me. I lead by example. I lead with my words. I lead with my actions. And everyone listens to me when I tell them what to do. And if they don't, I'll fire them. Just like I've fired Joel Pearl. Just like I've fired Steven Jensen on his birthday for not liking Fast X. I'll fire all of these people. That's how you manage these rosters. I don't care about splitting them. No, there's a lot of crossover between Fightful Overbooked and Fightful. I got shows on both channels. Kate's got shows on both channels. Joel's got shows on both channels. There's plenty of crossover. Sean just randomly appears on Fightful Overbooked. I don't know why. He just shows up on In the Weeds all the time. SP3 should have shows on both channels. Steven Jensen has shows on both channels. There's plenty of crossover because we're all professionals. And we're all professionals because of me, because I'm a great leader.
Okay, any follow-up questions? Oh, I guess he's having issues all over the place today. Okay.
Good. Get
Well,
him out of here.
We'll move on. We have a question from is this Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful.com.
Sean, your mic's muted. Sean, unmute your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Sean, you're muted again.
Why is everyone?
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
I can hear you now.
Jeremy, thank you so much for taking the time. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Sean. I'm well. Thanks for asking.
Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Sean. Thanks so much for asking.
Joel, thank you for doing this. How are you doing today?
We're doing well, Sean. Go ahead with your question, please.
Dr. Chris Mueller, how are you doing today?
I'm fielding a lot of IT requests, but okay.
Okay. I'm very concerned about how other people in the queue are doing today, but I'll proceed with my question. Why haven't you fired Velveteen Dream?
Sean, I've already asked this question. You should listen to the people in front
I'm
of you.
not doing that, but I'm here and I refuse. And if anybody else on this call had any credibility, they would refuse to ask anything else until you answer this. Steven Jensen once quoted the movie Role Models from 2008, which he didn't say anything wrong, but that now has some lines in it that could be construed as offensive. Why haven't you fired him for that?
Why? I fired
I
Steven
understand
Jensen.
that Joe Pearl.
I fired Steven Jensen. I fired him on his birthday.
Joe Pearl once watched I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, which has some very insensitive jokes in it. Why do you allow Joe Pearl to be on your network?
I fired Joel Pearl. All these people are fired. You're the one who keeps paying them. It's not my fault.
Tate has blonde hair, and Hulk Hogan used to have blonde hair when he had hair. Why is she allowed to be? What do you not think about anything else?
You know what, Sean? I'm going to answer this question seriously because you are a
answer
journalist.
the question, Jeremy.
You are a journalist that I respect. All right, I respect you, Sean Ross Sapp. So I'm going to answer this question very seriously. Why do I keep Joel around? Why do I keep Steven Jensen around? Why do I keep Kate around? Because they make me look better. They are so incompetent at what they do that they make me look like the most brilliant man in the world. And I like that. That's a great ego boost for me. So I keep these idiots around so I can continue to look better and continue to get raises. It works great for me. I was like, Sean, can I get a raise? And then I just bury everybody else. Like, Joel, you seen what he's doing? He ain't doing anything. You see everything that I'm doing? Can I get that raise? It works out fantastic for me. So I keep all these people around to make myself look better.
To piggyback off of that, a question that has nothing to do with the last one that I asked. This is a 6-part question. Dr. Chris Mueller cleared Joel Pearl to continue as Fightful champion, even though he had a staph infection and a concussion. I'm told he asked Joel to run the ropes and prescribed him consecutive Z-Packs. Do you have any comment on this?
I will refer to Chris Mueller on that. He can answer for himself.
Chris, can you confirm that at some point, due to what you prescribed Joel Pearl, that he shit his pants?
Well, I mean, we all know that Z-Packs contain quite a bit of laxatives. So that's going to be a natural side effect, unfortunately.
No further questions.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for joining us, Sean. Hope you have a good day.
Great question.
Felt a little awkward there for me, but okay. We have a write-in from JJ. The writing question super chat is all hail the point God, whoever that is. Question: how did you get into wrestling media?
I got handed everything by a very nice man who gave me the Friday show, who gave me all the other shows on this channel as well. He just handed me everything, and I didn't have to do any work for it.
And we have a super chat question from Princess Diana from Beyond the Grave as well. Jeremy, darling, why isn't my countryman Timothy Thatcher ever interviewed on your shows?
I'll send Timothy Thatcher this link right now if he wants to be on this show. I would love to have Timothy Thatcher on. I hope you're doing well, Princess Diana. R.I.P. Tina Turner.
Our next question comes from SP3 representing True Heel Heat. Go ahead, SP3.
Hi, SP3.
Hello, Jeremy. Tell me to come on here. Had to sit in the backstage area, listen to your nonsense, saying there's crossover between Fightful Overbooked, and I'm stuck here on developmental for years.
Oh, he's muted.
SP3, you gotta fix your mic.
People muting me now. Can't making me feel like Roderick Strong because I'm on developmental for years here on Overbooked. But I'm here to ask a serious question. I'm sick of these ridiculous questions. We need to up the sanctity of this whole media call. We need to bring it up in respect. So I am here to do that. This is a question for Jeremy, Joel, or Kate, or even Doc. Good to see you all.
Hi, SP3.
What would you do if your son was at home crying all over on the bedroom floor because he's hungry and the only way to feed him is to sleep with a man with a little bit of money because his daddy's gone somewhere smoking on rock now, in and out of lockdown? I ain't got a job now. So for you, this is just a good time, but to me, this is what I call life.
Listen, as the head of IT, I'm going to request that we clip that from the show. That'll get us demonetized because he was far too accurate and sounded too much like the actual song.
I believe we have up to 23 seconds, and we allotted all of that time for that particular whatever that was. Our next question comes...
I would be a good father. That's what I would do if my son was at home crying on the floor. And I would not sleep with another man.
Next question comes from Mike.
I'm answering the question like a professional. That was a great question. Thank you, SP3.
The Demon Balor is representing Fightful with our next question. Go ahead, Demon.
Would you sleep with me?
No.
No? Okay. I just want to know what the hell happened to my push against Roman. I was bouncing from the ground like a dead fish, like you told me to. And next thing I know, I'm disappearing. And I just want to know what the hell's up with that. And that's all.
Well, you lost the Edge at WrestleMania. And he sucks. So you're probably never getting another title shot.
The
Win
Edge
a match, dork.
from you too, or...
Win a match, dork.
Our next question comes from Mike from Indeed. Go ahead, Mike, when you're ready.
Hi, Mike.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I've recently read reports online that independent wrestling is dead. However, Fightful, you have a show dedicated to independent wrestling called Indeed, as well as Steven Jensen has a Weekender podcast.
We don't support self-promotion, unfortunately, here at this press conference.
Mike,
We're
can't
looking for
self-promote.
unbiased journalism, please. Thank you. You can come back with another question.
Our next question comes from Doc Mueller from Bleacher Report. Doc, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so why hasn't AEW hired Mel Coleman to make art instead of using AI?
I don't work for AEW, Chris. I'm not Tony Khan. I'm not Will Washington. I'm not Bryan Danielson. Why are you asking me this? Great question, though.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Michael, calling you once again if you have a different question you would like to ask. A reminder once again, no self-promotion. Go ahead when you're ready.
What killed the independent wrestling?
You did, Mike.
What did I do?
You exist.
Killed it, murdered it.
We're putting you on trial.
Great question.
Great question. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and our friends beyond the binary, we are running out of time for questions.
No, Joel. We got to make sure everybody gets their questions in here. I don't want to cut them off short. We have a lot of tremendous questions that we have to get to.
We'll go to our last question then from Caden Lee from Around the Point Network. Caden, go ahead.
Hi, Jeremy. Where is Miro?
He was on television. Didn't you watch it?
Oh, I guess maybe the
terrible question. Terrible question.
Please
don't bring him back.
We'll make up for it with our actual final question. We have Cher.
Yeah, we gotta take one more. We gotta take one. We can't have that be the final question.
Cher Delaware.
What is this? What am I on?
Hi, Cher.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't even know.
Cher,
what
unmute your mic.
You just said you could hear me.
Hi, Cher. Hi, Cher.
I'm driving down the road. This is illegal.
Do you have a question?
No. Why? My question was, why was I invited?
Sure, you're a tremendous part of this team. You're part of FMC, the best show we do on Fightful Overbooked with myself, you, and
Strong Style,
and SP3.
Strong Style, the best show on Fightful Overbooked.
I mean that show's okay. Joel Pearl's part of that, so it you know it has its downfalls. But FMC is the best show we do on Fightful Overbooked because it's not about wrestling at all. That's why it's the best.
Okay, tell me what this is, and then I'll ask a question.
This is a media call. We're
For
taking
what?
calls from the media.
Okay, what are people asking?
You're asking a lot of questions, Cher. You're only allowed one question.
You sent me a link and said join the media call. I don't know what this means.
That was very self-explanatory.
Okay, my question is, why is Caden allowed to be on screen ever?
I don't know. You think I would have control over this stuff, but he just like shows up. He's like a gnat. You think you're rid of this guy, and you're not. And it's very annoying, honestly. Very, very annoying. It just pops up. That's why we kick him off screen all the time, though, because I'm tired of dealing with him. He's trying to message me while I'm trying to work as well. It's a gnat. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm sorry you have to deal with him, Cher. I'm sorry I got to deal with him. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. That was a great question.
It's a great question. It really is.
And then you have a follow-up?
No, my kid just said, "Who's Cher?"
Hi, kid.
Hi, kids.
Can you guys say hi?
Hi.
Wonderful.
I know one person. That's it.
Who do you know? Jeremy? Joel? You know Jeremy. We were at his wedding.
We can't have. We're not trying to blur relationship lines between media and staff today, but
this is all the time.
It was a great question, though.
This is all the time we have for the question period. I would like to give it back to Jeremy Lambert for closing remarks at this time.
Thank you to the great media, the great supporters of Fightful Overbooked for joining us here today. Again, we have a lot of great content here on Fightful Overbooked. On Mondays, we have Tag Talk with Haley and Kylie. Legitimately the best show we do on Fightful Overbooked. It's not FMC. It is a Tag Talk with Haley and Kylie, Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern. We have FMC on Tuesdays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern with myself, Cher Delaware, SP3. It's the second best show. It's not about wrestling at all. We have Indeed with Mike and Reg on Wednesdays. We have New Japan Bread Club with Matt and Kieran every other week. We have Coexisting with Rob and Maggie Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern. We have In the Weeds with myself and Joel Pearl Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we have Joel and Kate at 8 on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we have a lot of interviews and we have a lot of other fun stuff. Thank you to the great media for supporting Fightful Overbooked. Thank you to Kate for technically being here. I don't really know. Like, you were blurry the whole time. Your internet's awful, but like you were here. So thanks, I guess. Thanks to Chris Mueller. He's been here the whole time. He hasn't really done much, but thank you to Chris.
I've been fielding every IT request to this whole time.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Joel, for moderating.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Ladies, gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary. Enjoy a busy weekend in wrestling, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.